everyone, it's Kay Kalthoff and welcome to a Facebook Live. We're doing a Fab Friday and I'm broadcasting this on my Facebook business page for Stamping to Share. We are doing Dragonfly Dreams today and I was trying to decide, do I want to do the more complicated items for my Facebook Live or do I want to keep it a little bit simpler and not quite such long videos? And so I decided with the more complicated projects, I will keep those to my Tuesday videos that I do, because then I can kind of edit out some of those, I don't know, stalls where you kind of oops up and have to restart or whatever. And also on a more complicated project, it just takes more time. And so then I can fast forward through the dimensionals and fast forward through some of the intricate cutting and things like that. So I decided that for Fab Friday, from now on, we are going to keep it nice and simple. Really easy, things that even beginner stampers can do. And so today we're going to focus on the Dragonfly Dreams bundle. And the bundle means that it includes a stamp set, and this one happens to be a photopolymer stamp set, which makes it super easy for newbies. As long as you have your Stampin' mat, it makes it super easy for newbies because you can see exactly where you're stamping. And then also in this particular bundle, it includes framelits, and those are awesome with our Big Shot machine as far as cutting out accents that you can put onto your stamped cards. And so the card that we're going to be creating is actually one from Spring Fling. We had our Spring Fling this past weekend here in Lino Lakes, and oh my goodness, we had over 100 people in attendance and it was just marvelous. In fact, one of my downline member had actually 17 of her customers in attendance. So you can imagine that she placed a pretty good size order at the end of that event. This is the card that we are going to make today. Actually, we're doing two of them with the same card design, but I'm gonna save the other card until last because I can't, well, I'm so excited about it because, you know, the very last card that I ever create is always the one I'm most excited about. And so we'll save that for last today, but we'll do this one first. But I also want to show you a whole stack of swaps. I have so many wonderful swaps that I have received from other demonstrators that show you how to use this bundle. And I have to say, sometimes when I get a really, really popular bundle like Dragonfly Dreams, it takes me forever before I get around to using it. And that's because I have all these swap cards and I have them up all over my office and they're so amazing that I look at it and I think, huh, I can't top that, or I can't top that. I can't top that. And so then I just put it off and put it off and put it off before I ever get around to using it. So oddly enough, I didn't actually start using my Dragonfly Dreams bundle until a few weeks ago. And now I'm, of course, totally in love with it. And you'll be able to see that by my excitement as I'm stamping the cards today. So what I'm going to do, and this is always, seriously, the trickiest part for me, is I'm going to switch the camera onto my work surface so that I can show you these wonderful swap cards first. Then we'll get into some stamping, and then I will show you the most amazing, in my opinion, one of the more amazing cards that I created with this, and also super, super simple to make. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna just see how we can do this. And I just have to bring it in to the photo here and then tighten it up. So I think this actually, wow, I think this actually worked pretty good. So let me just make a few more adjustments and then I'll go ahead and show you these swap cards. Okay, so this looks pretty good. Okay, so the first swap card is by Karen Duke, and it looks like this, and she actually put Wink of Stella on here. So what I think she did is she took a sponge and she sponged this whole area in the center, and then she stamped her dragonfly, and then there's an overlay part of the dragonfly that you can stamp onto the wings to give them a little more color, and then she used some Wink of Stella. And you'll also notice that a lot of the dragonfly cards that I have use paper called Serene Scenery, and it looks like this. And this serene scenery has a lot of papers in it that just look fantastic with Dragonfly cards. And so that is what Karen did. She has just a little strip of it down here. The next card, I believe, is from Terry Gaines, and I received this in a swap here in our Stamp Share for Leaders swap that we do a couple times a year. And I love it. I actually modified this, made it not quite so bright and cheerful, and created a sympathy card out of it. And I love how it looks. In fact, I wish I would have put that so that you could see the difference side by side, what kind of a fun, more happy card looks like, and yet taking the same design and making it a little more serious. And then here is a swap card from Jessica Hill, and it has some sponged, very vanilla, and then the Dragonfly framelits were used to cut out some pieces and then just stamped over the top. So it looks like just a whole bunch of dragonflies flying off. So really nice card. Here's another really super nice card from Lynn Feldkamp. She's also in my Stamp Share for Leaders group. And I love this because it's just such a classic design. It's real easy for beginner stampers to feel successful at when they're stamping. Another card that I really loved in this swap also uses the serene scenery background. And I don't even know if you realize this, but the copper paper from Stampin' Up, the copper foil paper that we debuted in our holiday catalog, that is actually still available. And so that's kind of fun. And it's only $4 for two 12 by 12 sheets, which is a really good deal. I'll try to remember on my blog post this afternoon to put the link in for that, because there's another copper dragonfly here, and that just looks so cool. This one says, "Thanks for being you." So they use the copper embossing powder with the dragonfly cutout. And again, on that serene scenery paper. And this card, oh, I don't have a name on it, but it was definitely a swap card. And I don't know that I shared, you know what? And this one, I don't have a name on this one either. Sometimes people don't put their swap information on a Post-it note, and sometimes they just get lost because they'll fall out of the card, and then I don't know whose card it belongs to. But if the information is on a Post-it note, then I'm usually good. So here is another swap card, and this is really lovely as well, and it does not use the thinlits. However, you can see there's Wink of Stella back here. Not exactly sure what background she used here. It's not in, I mean, these little dots are part of the background, but I think this bigger background might come from Perpetual Birthday stamp set. And then she just stamped the dragonfly over the top of that swoosh. So it gives it a lot of motion. And again, and then she just put a whole swoosh of Wink of Stella on there, which I'm not sure if that's actually showing up in the camera, but it's really quite beautiful in person. And then one of my favorites, Diane Dimich, did this card, and I love it because it uses something that's available during Sale-a-bration, which actually ends in just a few days, and it's called Inside the Lines 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, which you can use for coloring, or you can just use it as a background on your cards, which is what we did here, or what Diane did here, and it's what I did here in the card that I'm going to demonstrate for you today. So we are going to get started now stamping, and I'm really excited to share this with you because it is so nice and easy. So let me start by showing you the Sale-a-bration paper inside the lines. You get 3 12 by 12 pieces of paper in each design. So this particular design has some bees, and it looks like they're fluttering around poppies. And then you have a woodland scene with mountains in the background, and there's a few dragonflies on this particular sheet. And then this is just a beautiful, kind of one of those spring flowers that doesn't have a lot of leaves. It's just a tall stem with some flowers on it. And of course you can see there's a dragonfly involved with that one. And then just a really beautiful background right here that is so much fun to color. Of course, you'd never catch me coloring that because that's way too detailed for me. But I know there's a lot of you out there that enjoy detailed projects. So let's go ahead and create this card. I'm going to have to swirl I just realized I did not grab any Daffodil Delight ink, but I have my Stampin' Carousel right here, so that was pretty easy to grab. So let me get started. We are going to start with our base card, which is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then I've scored it at 5 1/2. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to fold this in half, give this a good press, and then we're just going to do a little stamping on this designer series paper. So I picked the one that has the poppies, and this is 2 by 5 1/4 inches. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up our Daffodil Delight pad here, and we're just going to take these dots, and we only want the dot, we want a little bit of air through here. So if we would put the dots all the way from the top and then bring them all the way from the bottom, it would just be solid dots, and it would look a little stifling. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make sure that we stamp some of the dots off. So you can see that I'm not stamping all the way. So actually, if I had a marker, which I do not, I would show you on this block exactly where I'm cutting it off. But just know that you don't want to stamp the entire block onto this. Otherwise, it's just going to overwhelm your flowers. And then you're going to bring it up from the bottom, again, leaving the center a little more airy. There we go. I think we'll add a little bit more here. All right, so we'll set this aside. And now we're going to layer this 2 by 5 1/2 inch designer series paper onto a 2 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch piece of basic black. So that's super easy to do. So we're just going to take a little multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're just going to do a little skinny line all the way around. Can you see how skinny that is? Super, super skinny. Then we're just going to set it on here so that it's centered. And give that a little press. And that part is done. Now we should do a little stamping on here. And so let me grab my Stampin' mat. And I probably should have used that with the dots, but I forgot. And we're going to use an ink that's really, really good for photopolymer stamps. It's our Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we're just going to take one of these sentiments. It says, "To a wonderful friend." We're going to stamp this down here. And so we have the stamping done on the inside, or on the outside panel, and then we're going to do an inside panel, because you know I always like to do inside panels as well. This is going to be Whisper White, and it's 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to again use my yellow, my Daffodil Delight, with those dots, and this time we're just going to bring the dots here along the left side of the card. So we only need to really stamp that twice, and we have that ready to go. And then we can take another sentiment, and we can do "You sure know how to make someone happy." That sounds like fun. So we'll put that right here. Okay, now we're going to add this to the inside panel of our card, and we're just going to use a little snail, and we're going to put this right in like so. And now for the outside panel, we are just going to glue this on. So again, we're using some multi-purpose liquid glue, just a little square of it all the way around, and then we can set it in just like so. And as I mentioned, this was a card we did at Spring Fling. We try to keep the cards at Spring Fling pretty easy, just so that everybody who comes can go home with 24 really nice, beautiful, well-crafted cards. If we make them a little bit too complicated, then it's hard to visit and make cards at the same time. And you definitely want to be visiting when you're making these cards. So now I have my Dragonfly, and I've cut him out on the Big Shot, and I'm just going to show something to you. This is the sandwich that I used. I just used my magnetic plate. I put a cut plate down, and you can see that it is well used. Then I went ahead and I put my black paper down, and I put my large Dragonfly right here at the top, because this is where most of the intricate cuts are going to take place. So when you run it through the Big Shot machine, you kind of want it on the edge because most of the pressure will be on the edges. So I ran it through so that my butterfly was at the top, or my dragonfly was at the top. I ran it through the Big Shot. Then I took it out and I turned it around and ran it through one more time so that the dragonfly was at the bottom, but again, the wings were still at the edge of the Big Shot. And then I took it out and the pieces just fell out. I had no problems whatsoever getting the pieces out. So now we're going to take a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue again, and we're just putting a little bit on right here. You can see. We're going to turn that around and set this right here. And our card is complete. And it's just beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed that. Here's the card I just did, and here's the card I had done in advance. And you can see with different backgrounds, it looks a little bit different. Every card is going to look a little bit different with this Inside the Lines Designer Series paper. But now I'm going to share another card with you that I'm super excited about. And it's because I saw so many swap cards in my house for the last couple of months using the Serene Scenery 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. And if you grab a dragonfly and just throw it on top of this Designer Series paper, it's just amazing. Look, every single paper just looks amazing. I mean, oh my goodness, it just makes me so excited. So when we don't have the ability to purchase the Inside the Lines Designer Series paper anymore, well, actually we're not purchasing it, but when we can no longer get it from Stampin' Up!, we can always go with our Serene Scenery paper. Even this burlap looks really cool with the dragonfly. I just love it. So I'll keep flipping through here. Look at the dragonfly here. I mean, this is the dragonfly's natural habitat right here, wouldn't you say? By the sand and the water. I love it. Let me see, what's another good one? Here's one, just some clouds. So I can't wait to, oh, and my very, 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 very favorite paper in this entire paper pack is last. And this is the one that I did my card with. And so it looks like this. And the reason I love it so much is because it reminds me of my days growing up on the farm. And I can't tell you how many times as a little kid I would just be out and about and we played in the grass and in the weeds and in the grove and I mean, in the woods and everywhere. And this scene just strikes wonder in my heart because it is so true to life and so amazing. And then look at that dragonfly on there. Absolutely stunning. Okay, so let me share the card. We are going to start with a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of Soft Sky. No, this isn't Soft Sky. Soft Suede. I had the soft right, but nothing else. So this is Soft Suede. Again, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And as I mentioned, I was going to keep this pretty close to the design I had before. So, knowing that, we're going to be layering onto some black. But before we get there, I want to go ahead and do a little more stamping. So I'm going to take a wet wipe and I'm going to clean off my yellow from this stamp. So I was using Daffodil Delight on the previous project. So I'm just taking a wet wipe here and we're cleaning off all of this yellow because I want to use Versamark ink now. Okay? So Versamark is kind of fun because it will take on whatever color you stamp it onto. So we are going to be stamping onto Soft Suede, and I want this to be just a little bit darker than Soft Suede. So that's what's going to happen when we stamp it. So I think I need to stand up so I can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to start on the left-hand side. And this time, instead of bringing it off and not stamping quite so much, I want a lot of dots right up here at the top. So let me go ahead and start stamping this at the top. There we go, there's one. And then here's the second one. And here's the third one. Okay, so that looks fantastic. Again, I'm forgetting things. Here's the mat. I should be using the mat, for heaven's sakes. All right, now I always remember it when I get to words because I just hate to mess up my words. So this time, I think we are going to put, I think we're going to do the same thing, to a wonderful friend. So I'm inking that up. I'm going to stamp this down here. I hope I have some friends watching today. I have no idea what's going on because I can't see the camera. So I just hope there's somebody out there in Facebook land watching me. Okay, so here it is, to a wonderful friend. And now what we're going to do is some more stamping with the Versamark. So let me get this out of the way because I just do not want to drop something in there by accident. Okay, so again, grabbing the Versamark. And this time, I want my little dots to show up really close to a wonderful friend. So I'm going to put this here. And then we're just going to stamp all the way across. I think I better fold this over because we don't want to be stamping on the back of the card. So here we go. Perfect. Okay, so this is where we're at so far with this card. So let me get this out of the way. You know, maybe we should do the inside panel. So let me grab that. I have a piece of So Saffron for the inside panel, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to grab those dots again, and we're going to grab the Versamark, and we're just going to stamp some dots, I think, just across the top here. Just bring them all falling down, and then we'll add a sentiment. So let me bring the Tuxedo Black Memento ink back into the picture, and we're going to do Enjoy Your Special Day. That's nice. All right, so we'll stamp this right here. Perfect. Okay, let me get all this ink out of the way. I don't think we need any more inks on this card. All right, so now what we want to do is just take a little snail to the back. Oh, I had something stamped on there from some other day, something that I must have discarded into my scrap pile. So here we go. And you know, as this dries, just to let you know, this Versamark will show up more and more, especially on a little bit lighter paper like this. Okay, so now let's go and finish the card here. So here's that basic black paper, 2 1/4 by 5 1/2. Going to go ahead and grab my multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to glue that down. And we're going to glue it about right here. Maybe bring it down just a little bit. There we go. How does that look? I think that looks pretty good. And now I want to tell you about this paper. You can get 3 cards from each sheet of paper. So what I did is, this is the paper that I'm using, and I just cut it into 3 2-inch strips. So I have a 2-inch strip here, a 2-inch strip here, and a 2-inch strip here. And the strip that I'm using for this particular card is the one that's right through the center. Okay, and it's 2 by 6 inches. All right, so let's put this on to our card. Oh my gosh, that just makes my heart want to stop. It looks so gorgeous. Okay, really, truly it does. I hope you think so too. All right, so I did make this, I just cut it into a strip. And so it's going to be a little longer. This is 2 by 6. I'll have to trim this even. But here it is. So incredibly gorgeous. Okay, let me get my paper snips here. And we're just going to trim from the back side. Okay, there it is. Isn't it beautiful? Now we just have to add our dragonfly. So I'm going to do that by adding a little, again, multi-purpose liquid glue to the back of him. Because we don't need to put it on the wings and on the tail and all of that. We just want his body down, and then the rest can be kind of loose and flowing. There we go. How does that look? Gorgeous, right? Okay, now certainly you must be thinking, well, what about those other strips, Kay? Well, you know I'm going to show you. So let me show you the bottom strip first. So this was the piece that was on the bottom, and I used Always Artichoke and made it very similar. Isn't it gorgeous? And then this is the strip that was at the top of the page. So this one is So Saffron, and I just used the top of that paper. So again, let me show you that paper in Serene Scenery, which looks like this. Hopefully there's not too much glare. So this is the card I did for the top strip, and this is the card I did for you that was the middle strip. Oh boy, I don't even know if I'm getting this in the camera. Hopefully. And then this was the card I did that was the bottom strip. So that concludes my Facebook Live video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming by. Please leave a comment on my Facebook page, or later if you're seeing this on YouTube, and tell me what you think. I'm still learning how to do all of this Facebook Live stuff, so you'll have to bear with me. I think I did the lighting better this time. But over the next few weeks, I hope to continue to improve and make this a good experience for you. Have a great day and have a happy weekend stamping. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.